afternoon, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Paul, we've waited 4 weeks for a Newcastle home game and we've drawn 0-0 against Burnley. This is scoring the players. I'll start with Martin Dubravka, had very little to do. Clean sheet. I think me and you could have gone and goal today, couldn't we? He didn't really have any shots on target.
Did Burnley come to actually win a game of football, or did they come just to sit back and just take a point? He had a very easy afternoon. Yeah. Very, very easy afternoon.
I'll go 7 out of 10. Like you say, everything he did was fine. Four at the back, Paul. Who would have thought it, eh? Danny Rose got a lot of criticism last week. Again, it was the performance from Danny Rose today. He didn't really bomb on. I thought on the right hand side he never really got caught out of position, but do you want to see a bit more from Danny Rose?
I would do, considering he's supposedly an England international. If you look back, every throw he took, it never found a Newcastle player. When he was running forward, he was cutting in, he was never looking for anybody out wide and looking for the width. I think he made too many wrong decisions across the pitch for my liking. He was playing safe football rather than taking that extra risk that might create a goal scoring opportunity. I thought he played quite within himself, and I would say it's a bang average. It's a 5 out of 10 sort of performance. Down the middle, he wasn't terrible defensively, although once or twice he did let Chris Wood bully him and get in front of him, and that was a little and large at times. But a bang average 5 out of 10. I would say personally. Don't know what you think.
No, I agree. I just think I'd like to see a bit more crosses. If there's somebody there, just try and see if you can get Gayle on the end.
Southgate was there today, wasn't he, as well? You think he'd want to do a bit more in front of Southgate, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. But still, it's only his third game in the Newcastle show, or third Premier League game rather. Centre half, Jamal Lascelles, good battle. Good battle with. He had a good battle with Vidra, which he won because he got taken off after 57 minutes. Wood gave him more issues. Rodriguez again only had one chance, which was through on goal, which he should have done better. There was arguments whether he was offside. No, I think I'm glad he didn't score because I think VAR would have taken about 25 minutes to have decided about that one. But he was fine. It was a comfortable performance. Maybe the only thing I will say is have a little look around when the ball's coming up in the air. Can you maybe just take a little bit of time to get that header to a man? Apart from that, it was fine. I'll go 6 out of 10 for Lascelles.
Just a couple, like you said, just a couple of the headers that were just. He was making them, but then they were dropping to Burnley players consistently and stuff. And I don't think he was taxed at all today, to be honest. But I think it's a fair score what you're giving him.
Fernandes more just exactly the same, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit better than Lascelles. I didn't really realise he was playing for the first 20 minutes. And that's how I felt. It was one of them type of performances across the board. But again, average. Didn't do anything particularly wrong, didn't do anything particularly great. So again, 6 out of 10. Yeah.
Right back, Javier Manquillo came back out of the wilderness from injury. Didn't think it was great, I have to be brutally honest. I thought attacking wise, yes, he gives you the option, but his final ball has got to be so much better.
Sluggish, didn't you think? I mean, to me,
he's only just come back.
He's thrown in, and I didn't think he'd make the full 90 minutes. I thought with Joelinton being on the bench that he would make that change, but he wasn't able to get the ball and carry it forward and get us pushed forward. The crossing wasn't fantastic, especially second half. There was crosses going everywhere, but it's his first game back, and we've asked a lot of him. I think
we have. I think obviously with the fact that Joelinton's not been performing, Lazaro's out now for a couple of games through suspension. After that, take his chance.
After that Oxford game for Joelinton, no, thank you. I'm
going to go 4 out of 10 for Javier Manquillo. We'll move into the midfield. I think it was more of a 4-2-3 on predominantly throughout the game. It did kind of mix a little bit in the end of the first half. It was more of a straight 4 in the midfield. But Jonjo Shelvey returning, Paul. He was coming out of position to get the ball, and you can tell when he's in the team, attacking wise, we do look a little bit better. When it's just Hayden, Bentaleb and Longstaff, we look a bit restricted.
I was glad Bentaleb was dropped because I think he's been nothing at all special to me. He's our top scorer, he had to come back in. I made that call and I said that on the private group earlier on in the week, back on Monday, Tuesday time, that I would bring him straight back in. I thought first half he had a couple of dipping shots, not powerful enough to really test the keeper or anything, and in 1 or 2 decent moments. Second half for me, he dropped a little bit too further back, and it touches again on what I said on the private group this morning. I didn't want to see midfielders holding defenders' hands, and that sort of happened a little bit in the second half. But I think as the pressure cranked up, they reverted to type a little bit more, and he faded away again. A player who's missing football and who hasn't played week in, week out, that takes some effect. But first half I thought pretty decent, but second half not for me. I'd have maybe thought about a change in the centre of midfield.
What do you give him?
If you played like you did in the first half, I might have given us maybe even as much as a 7, but I think a 6 again is more than fair. First game back, but glad to have him back because he adds that goal threat from midfield.
I'll be very quick on Issac Hayden. I think it was exactly the same. The sort of performance you're going to get from Hayden. Again, he hasn't played a lot of football. He did break up the play. I mean, Kyle were having a little bit of a debate when we were coming up to a film. I thought he was quiet, but quiet in a good way, in the fact that
he broke stuff up,
yeah.
But did he do any sort of passing forward? Did he get anything going? No, he didn't. He was just there as somebody just to disrupt the Burnley flow, if there was a Burnley flow.
Westwood and Cork are two brutes,
yeah,
in terms of not like in size, but just what they do very well. And that is, it's very workman-like. It's very, Sean Dyche strategy football, and what he wants off them too, they deliver very, very well.
I will say though, he shouldn't have been dropped previously. So the fact that he's come in today is positive. He needs to cement his place in that team because he did nothing wrong previously, and like I said, today he didn't do anything again particularly wrong, but he didn't do anything particularly great. So again, it's going to be middle of the table sort of scores.
I'm going to go 6. I think it was the same as Shelvey. I don't think there was much in between of the day. Let's go into the 3. I'll let you start with Joelinton. On that left hand side, he does look a tinsy-wincy bit better, not much better.
That's what he's asked for, isn't it?
Yeah.
All season, play me on the left, and Bruce can now say, I've played you on the left. And there was a little Cruyff turn here and there. There was some that you can't criticise the lad for tracking back, trying to make things going, but it's not quite working for him. He's not getting shots away.
Is he the best left winger at the club?
No.
So what's he doing there?
That's Steve Bruce, isn't it? That's Bruce football. That's from his. At the end of the day, I do feel sorry for him. He's a young lad who's been thrust into it because our squad is ill equipped in the attacking third of the field. So I do feel sorry for him. I do feel as if we should have been able to bring him in and take him out more often. And he's become a bit of a scapegoat for some as well. And there was even people sort of constantly just taking gripes as he's playing. He needs building up. He's a £40 million footballer.
Is it time to drop him?
I think it is. I think if we had a Rondon or somebody like that, which we should have signed that type of player, we should have signed reinforcements in January. We haven't, but if we had, we'd have been able to take him out, protect him, and build his confidence, build his ego back up, give him 15-20 minutes here and there, playing in your preferred position, off slightly on the left and take it from there. But unfortunately, due to poor planning by the club and by Steve Bruce, it's a case of needs must.
How what are you giving him today?
Today, he's the number 9. He's not scoring goals, but he was average. So again, 6.
Oh, I wouldn't have gone that high.
Would you know?
I
was thinking 5, but I thought at the end of the day, he was tracking back. He was doing the job that he'd been asked to do today. But the trouble is, he's got the number 9 on his back, and everybody will come back to that and expect him to score the goals. In today's system, that wasn't his primary focus to do. But again, you can't knock his work ethic, and he is trying, no doubt about it. And I think it's more down to the management of Bruce not being a little bit more clever with him to bed him in gradually.
Possibly. I think it's a good debate. Get your comments in. What do you think about Joelinton's performance if you're at the game of the day? Matt Ritchie started. I think a lot of fans were very happy about that. Energy, work rate, you don't need to argue about that with Matt Ritchie. What he needs to ask about Matt Ritchie is end product, and can you be the man, and getting chances. And he did have a couple of good chances, and it's particularly one at the end when Shelvey and Ritchie 2-on-2. And you think, go on, let's just nick it. We haven't played well, but just nick the game and nick the 3 points. And they didn't even get a shot on, really, or they got a block, and it was parried away almost, and it was just. We just need a little bit more. It was better, but
it was typical Ritchie. It was huff, puff, but you're not blowing the house down. And talking about that because there's quite a bit wind at the moment where we're at. But
I'll just grab on to you.
Yeah, it'll take a strong gust to blow me over. But at the end of the day, I think he enjoyed, and he started the game in a really positive fashion. And I think he was probably really geared up by the fact he was getting nosebleed territory playing that far up, on the pitch and stuff like that. But again,
he had the post as well, though, Paul.
Yeah, he did. And you always get 100% effort and commitment, and he's sitting there and he's slapping people across the head, and you get all of that, and it's great. And it's a shame that not everybody shares the same drive and determination as a man Ritchie, but sometimes in some areas of his game it lets him down. And again, how many chances were created and this, that and the other, you know.
Sure. He had the header in the first half and then hit the post, and again he was always a constant threat. I'm going to go 6 out of 10 for Matt Ritchie. Miguel Almiron, bit more freedom as a number 10, Paul. Briefly, what did you make of his performance?
I think I put briefly in there. No, I've said this since the Copa America last year. I think he's better in that number 10 playing behind. He can affect things, and he finds space here, there and everywhere. He was today, for me, the man of the match for Newcastle. If anybody was going to unlock it, if anybody was going to do something, it was going to be him. I really like Miguel. I stuck up for him throughout the lot. People criticising the goal scoring and stuff like that.
I think 40 criticised him a bit last week, but again, no goals, and then you'll go, well, I've justified my point. Where do you sit on the fence with Miguel Almiron?
I've said all along, if you look at every time we do score goals, he's involved, if it's either directly or indirectly. So if we win a free kicks, it's because of a foul on him. Two players will gang up on him, create space for somebody else. He wins corners, free kicks, he makes chances. So he is busy in the good stuff that Newcastle do, but we need to see more of the good stuff. Yeah, we need to see more of the sauce splashed about, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I like Miggy. There's a lot of things that ticks the box, but we just need to see a little bit more. Today I thought he was good. I thought he was our man of the match, and I would have given him either a 7 or an 8.
What we're going with?
What do you think?
I was going to go 7.
So we'll go 7. I think that's fair enough. But he was, to me, man of the match today.
Dwight Gayle for me, I thought was brilliant. Just missed the goal. Just needed the goal. And we've been saying this is our 4 games without a goal for Newcastle, and we just need a goal. And I thought he was probably the closest we've had in those last 4 games of probably getting a goal. He had that chance in the first half where it just forced him, but it was a good block, I think, from Bardsley as well.
I hoped he fell over, didn't he? Sort of, I don't know what he did to trip himself up, but
look, I think he's got to start on Tuesday against West Brom, against his former club. He knows the club. I would fancy him at a score on Tuesday, and I think for me, better performance, just need to get a few more shots, a few more goals. He always looked a threat. He always made sure that Burnley's defenders were working hard, and he won a few headers in the air. So
his teammates need to help him as well. It's just all not about, I mean, the strikers were not scoring goals, but the players around him need to give him a little bit more ammunition, chances, crosses created. There was a couple of times in the second half especially, he was leaping like a gazelle above anybody else. Really, really impressive. His jumping was really, really good, and he was busy, he was positive, he was energetic. He didn't sulk like Joelinton can do when he's played up top. But yeah, he'll be desperate to play against West Brom and desperate to score, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm going to go 6 out of 10. I'm maybe slightly harsh, but I just want to see a goal. If he gets a goal, it's 8 and 9s. I thought that was that good of a performance. Saint-Maximin came on for Joelinton, had a shot which, because it went for everybody, you never know where that's going to go, and he did look a bit brighter than Joelinton, has to be said, but again, he was only on for 12 minutes, so...
What can you do? He should have been on before that, Johnny. That is a criticism, that's down to Bruce. If that was a Sir Bobby in the dugout today, he'd have made a triple substitution, I'm telling you now. He'd said, I'm sending a message out to them players, if you're not doing it, these lads here, these might do it and make a change. It was far too late, and I was a bit disappointed with Brucey today.
5 out of 10 for Alan Saint-Maximin. Let's both agree on this. Steve Bruce. Look, 5 changes. One was enforced, but he tried something different, Paul, and I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit. Not like me, obviously, but you give him credit for him to change it, and we did look a tiny bit better going forwards. But it's 0-0 at home to Burnley. No disrespect to Burnley, and we're only on 32 points. We're still a couple of wins away from safety. 2 points dropped.
At the end of the day, at home, we should be beaten, with no disrespect to Burnley, but the likes of Burnley. It's not Barcelona, it's not Bayer Leverkusen, it's Burnley at the end of the day. He wasn't as decisive enough as he needed to be. He didn't make changes when he needed to do so. I didn't see enough of him on the touchline. I was really, really disappointed today. It's a huge opportunity he lost. 2 points down the drain. And we need to be getting these points on the board. Just get over that 40-point mark, please. But yeah, Steve Bruce today for me will probably get a 4. Yes, you've been brave to change the formation and everything, but then you've not been brave enough and decisive in the match as it's going on. In the match situations, you haven't reacted, you've sat back and you've kept status quo, and quite frankly, sometimes you've got to shuffle and just keep continually trying things. He's been on about Guardiola, does it several times, and this, that and the other. You're a Premier League manager, you need to act like it and just be a little bit more decisive for me. But I would say 4 out of 10.
I agree. I was going to go 4 out of 10. So get your comments in, get your player ratings in. It'd be interesting to see what you give Bruce, what you give Joelinton, and what you give the likes of Issac Hayden, Jonjo Shelvey as well. Like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV. And as you can see, St James is in the background. We'll see you later on tonight.